Every year, millions of elderly people are suddenly hit by a stroke, often without warning. One moment they're walking, cooking, or chatting with family, and the next, they're rushed to the hospital, unable to move or speak. It happens fast, but the truth is, the body often sends warning signs weeks before a stroke strikes. According to the World Health Organization, stroke is the second leading cause of death globally, and elderly individuals are the most vulnerable. Yet, research shows that up to 80% of strokes may be preventable if we catch the early signs in time. In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 subtle but critical signs many elderly people show weeks before a stroke hits. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in yourself or your loved ones, and what actions to take right away to prevent a life-changing emergency. So stick around and take notes. This could literally save a life. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because it helps me keep bringing you valuable content that protects the health and lives of those you love. Now let's dive in. Sign 1. Sudden fatigue or weakness, especially on one side. If you've ever felt a sudden, unexplained wave of fatigue, especially if it seems to only affect one side of your body, this might be a sign that something isn't quite right. It's easy to overlook, especially when we chalk it up to just getting older or being more tired than usual. But what if I told you this could be a warning sign that something more serious is brewing, something that could affect your future health and independence? Now, this kind of sudden weakness or fatigue usually shows up as a noticeable heaviness in one side of your body. Perhaps your arm or leg suddenly feels weak, or you find yourself leaning more to one side while walking, as if your body is struggling to keep balance. You might think it's just from a long day or not enough rest. But the truth is, it could be your body giving you a signal that a stroke is near. This kind of weakness is often a precursor to a stroke. When a stroke is about to happen, it's common for blood flow to the brain to become restricted or blocked. This can disrupt the normal functioning of muscles and nerves, especially on one side of the body. Often, this sign doesn't come suddenly, it gradually increases in intensity over time. It could start with slight weakness in one leg or arm, or you may feel more easily fatigued than you usually would. The underlying cause of this sign is related to the disruption of blood flow to specific areas of the brain. When a blood clot or a rupture happens, it cuts off oxygen to certain regions of the brain, leading to weakness in the muscles controlled by those areas. And when this happens, it often shows up on one side of the body, as the brain's motor functions are affected. Now, here's the part that's most concerning. If you ignore this weakness or fatigue, it can be the precursor to a full-blown stroke. The longer you wait to address it, the more the risk increases. The warning signs could be your body's way of asking for help, but if left unchecked, this could lead to more severe outcomes, like partial paralysis, loss of speech, or even complete inability to care for yourself. So what can you do to take action? The first step is to listen to your body. If you're noticing that one arm or leg is feeling unusually weak, or you're struggling to maintain balance, don't dismiss it. Start by making small changes in your daily routine. Check your blood pressure regularly. High blood pressure is one of the major contributors to stroke risk. Stay hydrated, because dehydration can also contribute to dizziness and fatigue. Make sure you're eating a balanced diet filled with fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, which are vital for maintaining good circulation. Get up and move regularly. Even a short walk around the house every couple of hours can keep your blood flowing properly and improve muscle strength. Let me share a little story. Take 2 people, Mr. Johnson, aged 72, and Mr. Davis, aged 81. Both of them began to notice some slight weakness in their left leg. Mr. Johnson, after feeling a bit off for a few days, decided to make a doctor's appointment. His doctor suggested he monitor his blood pressure and make sure he stays active. Mr. Johnson started walking more, paying attention to his diet, and checking in with his health regularly. Over the next few weeks, he felt much stronger, and that left leg weakness started to disappear. On the other hand, Mr. Davis, who was 81, ignored his symptoms. He thought, it's just part of getting older, and didn't make any changes to his routine. A few weeks later, he had a full-blown stroke, and the left side of his body was completely affected. He lost the ability to walk and struggled with speech. His life was forever changed because he didn't take that initial warning sign seriously. The lesson here is clear: if you're noticing sudden weakness or fatigue, especially if it's on one side of your body, please don't wait for it to get worse. Take action now to lower your risk. Check your blood pressure, eat healthier, stay active, and listen to your body. If you're feeling weak, take it as a sign to pay more attention to your health. Remember, it's never too late to take care of your health. It's all about early intervention. You don't have to face a stroke without being prepared. By recognizing the warning signs and taking small, manageable steps, you can protect yourself and maintain a healthy, active life. So, if you're over 70 and you notice this sudden weakness, please reach out to your doctor, follow the simple steps I've suggested, and stay proactive. Your health is the most valuable thing you have. Don't wait for something to happen, take control today. Sign 2. Temporary vision issues, a silent warning of stroke. If you're over 70 and you notice changes in your vision, blurry eyesight, double vision, or maybe a sudden loss of sight in one eye, it's easy to brush it off. You might think, it's just a part of aging or I must be tired. But, my dear friends, this could be one of the early signs that a stroke is approaching, and it's not something you want to ignore. Temporary vision issues are one of the most common early indicators of a stroke, especially in the elderly. You might experience sudden blurred vision, difficulty focusing, or even an inability to see clearly in one eye. It can feel like your sight is fading in and out. It's not something that comes and goes without reason. It's a signal from your body, telling you that there's something wrong with the blood flow to your brain. Now, why does this happen? Temporary vision issues are typically caused by a reduction in blood flow to the part of your brain responsible for processing vision. This reduced blood flow is a warning sign of an impending stroke, particularly a transient ischemic attack, TIA, which is often called a mini-stroke. TIAs don't always lead to a full-blown stroke, but they should never be ignored. They are a clear signal that a stroke might be on the horizon. If you're seeing blurry vision, double vision, or a sudden loss of sight, and you do nothing about it, you risk letting the problem get worse. What could happen if you ignore this sign? You're increasing your chances of having a full stroke. Without proper attention, these symptoms could worsen, leading to permanent damage. The longer you wait, the more difficult it may be to prevent a stroke, and the effects can be devastating. But don't worry, there's always something you can do. Taking action immediately could save you from a stroke. A simple but important step is to keep track of your health, especially your blood pressure and cholesterol levels. High blood pressure can affect your blood flow and make it easier for clots to form. Keep an eye on these numbers with regular checkups. You can also make it a habit to drink plenty of water, eat a heart-healthy diet, and even go for a short walk each day to keep your circulation flowing. Let me tell you a story about two individuals, let's call them Alice and Bob. Alice, who is 72, noticed her vision becoming blurry on a few occasions. Instead of brushing it off, she scheduled an appointment with her doctor. The doctor confirmed that her blood pressure was high and suggested some lifestyle changes, like eating more vegetables and taking daily walks. Alice followed the advice. A few weeks later, her vision had improved, and her blood pressure was well managed. She's feeling great and has no issues with her health. Now, Bob, who is 81, also noticed the same vision problems, but he thought it was just part of getting older. He didn't want to bother his doctor, so he ignored it. A few weeks later, he experienced a stroke, and it left him with partial paralysis on one side of his body. It was a devastating outcome, all because he didn't listen to his body's early warning. Alice took action and caught the problem early, preventing something much worse from happening. Bob ignored the sign and paid the price. This story should remind us all, don't wait until it's too late. So, my advice to you, if you're over 70 and you notice changes in your vision, blurry eyesight, double vision, or a sudden loss of sight, don't wait. Get in touch with your doctor immediately. Take care of your body, and take care of your health. Your vision is precious, and your life is even more so. Small actions today can protect you from a stroke in the future. Remember, early action is key to stroke prevention. Taking simple steps like monitoring your blood pressure, staying active, and eating a balanced diet can make a world of difference. Don't wait for the problem to escalate. Your health is in your hands, and it's never too late to start taking better care of yourself. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because it helps me keep bringing you valuable content that protects the health and lives of those you love. Sign 3. Difficulty speaking or finding words. If you've ever found yourself struggling to find the right words in a conversation, or if your speech becomes suddenly slurred, unclear, or hard to follow, don't brush it off. This sign, though subtle at first, could be a warning. It's not just forgetfulness, it may be an early sign that something more serious is happening in your body. You see, when it becomes difficult to speak or form words clearly, it's not just about losing your ability to communicate. It may indicate that your brain is not getting the oxygen and nutrients it needs. It's a crucial sign that should never be ignored. But many elderly people overlook it, thinking it's simply a part of aging or stress. However, this can be the body's way of saying that a stroke could be on the horizon, sometimes weeks before it happens. The cause of this difficulty can often be traced back to issues with your brain's blood flow. You see, strokes occur when the brain's blood supply is interrupted. When a blood clot or narrowed artery affects the part of the brain responsible for speech, it can cause slurred speech, difficulty finding words, or a complete inability to speak clearly. This might happen slowly, making it easy to dismiss at first. You might think, oh, I'm just tired, or maybe I'm not concentrating, but if you're noticing this repeatedly, or if it comes and goes, it could be an early warning sign of something more serious. Ignoring this problem could be incredibly dangerous. The risk here is that while you may feel okay or not immediately worried, the problem may worsen without intervention. If the blood flow is restricted, your brain cells could begin to die, and the stroke may become inevitable. You could wake up one morning and find yourself unable to speak at all, unable to communicate with those you love. Or even worse, you could face paralysis or other irreversible damage. The longer you wait, the greater the chance that the damage will become permanent. Now, don't be afraid. There is hope. The key is early action. If you notice that speaking is getting more difficult, make sure you're not just sitting back and letting it slide. There are simple, everyday things you can do to protect your health and reduce the risk of stroke. For instance, staying hydrated is one of the easiest and most effective things you can do. Dehydration can make it harder for your brain to function properly. Drinking water regularly throughout the day can help keep your brain sharp and prevent speech difficulties. Additionally, checking your blood pressure is crucial. High blood pressure is a major contributor to stroke risk. You can monitor it yourself at home with a digital blood pressure cuff. It only takes a few minutes a day, and it could save you from a serious health crisis. Make sure you also get a good night's sleep, eat foods that are low in salt and fat, and try to include light exercise in your routine. Even a short walk can do wonders. Let me tell you a story about two people I know. There's George, who's 72. He's been noticing that, for the last couple of weeks, his words seem to get stuck, and sometimes he can't find the right word. He feels embarrassed, so he doesn't mention it to anyone. But one day, he takes action. He begins drinking more water, checks his blood pressure regularly, and even starts going for short walks with his daughter. Within a month, his speech improves, and he feels more energized. George feels good about the choices he's made and is grateful for taking action. Then there's Mabel, who's 81. She's also been having trouble finding words lately, but she thinks it's just her age catching up with her. She doesn't want to bother her family, so she keeps quiet. A few weeks later, Mabel suffers a stroke. Her speech becomes much harder to understand, and she loses the ability to communicate the way she once could. She now faces months of rehabilitation and may never fully recover her speech. You see, George's life is different because he took action when he noticed the warning signs. Mabel, unfortunately, didn't listen to her body in time. By not acting, she put herself at greater risk of serious consequences. If you're over 70 and you notice that speaking is becoming more difficult, my advice to you is to pay attention to your body. Don't be afraid to ask for help or seek medical advice. You're never too old to take control of your health, and the sooner you act, the better your chances of preventing a stroke. Remember, early action can save your life. If you're noticing difficulty speaking or finding words, it could be a sign that your brain is not getting enough oxygen. This could be a signal from your body that something needs to be done now. Don't wait, take action today. Whether it's drinking more water, managing your blood pressure, or simply walking a little more each day, small changes can make a big difference. Take care of yourself. Your health is the most important thing, and you deserve to live every day feeling strong, clear, and connected to the world around you. Sign 4. Dizziness or loss of balance. As we age, our bodies naturally undergo changes, and sometimes we may begin to notice something as subtle as a feeling of dizziness or a sense of unsteadiness when we stand up. These moments, where we feel lightheaded or as if the room is spinning, can be brushed off as just a part of getting older, but I'm here to tell you, this is a sign you should not ignore. If you find yourself or a loved one experiencing dizziness or losing your balance more often than before, it's important to pay close attention. Dizziness can show up in many forms. You might feel lightheaded when you stand up quickly, or even have a sensation of tilting or swaying when walking. It could happen when you bend down to pick something up, or while walking across the room. You might notice your legs feeling wobbly or that you're a bit more unsteady on your feet than usual. This feeling can also be accompanied by a sense of confusion, as if the world around you is off balance, or you might have trouble focusing your eyes. The reason many elderly people might overlook this sign is simple. As we age, balance issues are sometimes considered a normal part of the process. But let me tell you, dizziness and balance problems can actually signal something much more serious, an impending stroke. These seemingly innocent feelings could be an early warning sign that something in the brain is not functioning as it should. Now, you may be wondering what causes this sensation of dizziness. Well, the cause is often linked to changes in your circulatory system, such as narrowed or blocked blood vessels. These blood vessels are responsible for carrying oxygen-rich blood to your brain. When they become blocked or weakened, the brain doesn't get the oxygen it needs, and this leads to dizziness. In some cases, the problem can be caused by high blood pressure or plaque buildup in the arteries, which are common issues for many elderly individuals. If left unchecked, the risk is real. Ignoring dizziness can lead to much more severe consequences. A stroke can occur when blood flow to the brain is interrupted, and this early sign of dizziness is often the body's way of alerting you to a problem before a full stroke hits. The longer you wait, the greater the risk of irreversible brain damage or worse. This is why early detection is so critical, and the sooner you act, the better your chances of preventing a serious stroke. So, what can you do about it? The good news is that there are simple steps you can take right now to help protect yourself from the dangers of dizziness and balance loss. First, make sure you stay hydrated. Dehydration can worsen dizziness, so be sure to drink water throughout the day. A simple thing like drinking a glass of water when you wake up in the morning can make a big difference. Exercise is also essential. Even light walking or chair exercises can strengthen your legs and improve your balance. Focus on balance exercises that help you maintain your stability, like standing on one foot for a few seconds or walking heel to toe in a straight line. Additionally, it's important to monitor your blood pressure regularly and eat a healthy, balanced diet to keep your arteries clear. Take your medication as prescribed, and follow up with your doctor regularly. It's also a good idea to avoid rushing. Take your time when standing up, and always hold on to something sturdy when walking to prevent falls. These small steps can be the difference between being able to live independently or having to rely on others for help. Let me share the story of two elderly individuals. Meet Tom, who is 72 years old, and Alice, who is 81. Tom had been feeling dizzy every time he stood up, but he didn't think much of it. However, he decided to speak with his doctor, who advised him to monitor his blood pressure and start walking every day for at least 20 minutes. He followed through with the doctor's advice, and within a few weeks, his dizziness became less frequent, and he felt more stable on his feet. He also made sure to stay hydrated and followed up with his doctor regularly. As a result, Tom's risk of a stroke significantly decreased. On the other hand, Alice, who was also 81, ignored her dizziness. She thought it was just a sign of aging, and she didn't want to bother her doctor. A few weeks later, Alice suddenly experienced severe dizziness while walking to the kitchen. She fell and had difficulty getting up. Fortunately, family members were nearby, but the fall left her with an injury. Alice later learned that her dizziness was caused by a narrowing of her blood vessels, and she ended up being diagnosed with a mild stroke. Her recovery was slow, and she had to rely on others for assistance, something that could have been avoided had she addressed the issue earlier. If you're over 70 and you notice this feeling of dizziness, my advice to you is to take it seriously. Your body is telling you something important, and ignoring it could lead to irreversible damage. By simply taking small, consistent steps like staying active, monitoring your blood pressure, and talking to your doctor, you can protect yourself and improve your quality of life. Remember, it's never too late to take action. Your health is in your hands, and catching these warning signs early can save you from a lifetime of suffering. Dizziness and balance loss might seem small, but they're a sign of something bigger, something you can still control. So, if you or someone you care about is experiencing these symptoms, I urge you to take action today. Don't wait, because your future health depends on the decisions you make now. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because it helps me keep bringing you valuable content that protects the health and lives of those you love. Sign 5. Numbness or tingling, pins and needles. Imagine waking up one morning, and as you stretch, you feel a strange sensation in your hand or foot. It's like a tingling or a pins and needles feeling, not painful, but uncomfortable. You brush it off, thinking it's just from lying in one position too long. But what if this feeling is more than just a simple nuisance? What if it's a sign of something much more serious? Numbness or tingling, often described as pins and needles, can be a subtle but significant sign that something's not right with your body. For many elderly people, this sensation may show up in the hands, feet, or even one side of the face. It's easy to overlook because it can seem like an everyday occurrence, especially if you've experienced it before after sleeping in an odd position. However, this tingling, especially when it happens suddenly or lasts longer than usual, could be an early warning of a stroke. This sensation occurs because the blood supply to certain parts of your brain or body is being restricted or interrupted. In the case of stroke, it often affects one side of the body, usually the side that is experiencing the tingling or numbness. You see, when a stroke is looming, it's often caused by a blood clot or narrowing of the arteries that supply oxygen to your brain. As a result, the signals from the brain to the nerves are disrupted, causing these abnormal sensations. When you experience numbness or tingling in a specific area, such as one hand or foot, it could be the body's way of telling you that something is wrong. It's important to listen to these signs. But so often, elderly people think it's just a minor issue or something they've felt before. Perhaps they chalk it up to getting older or think it will go away on its own. But here's the problem: ignoring this early warning can be dangerous. If you don't take action when you feel numbness or tingling, you could be missing the chance to prevent a stroke before it happens. The longer you wait, the more likely it is that a stroke could occur, and the more damage it may cause to your brain and body. A stroke can leave you with permanent disability, affecting your ability to speak, move, or care for yourself. That's why it's so important to pay attention to these signals and act quickly. So, what can you do to protect yourself? It doesn't have to be complicated. Simple lifestyle changes and being mindful of your health can make a big difference. Start by paying attention to your daily routine. Make sure you're staying active. Even light exercises like walking can improve circulation and help prevent blood clots. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated, as dehydration can contribute to poor circulation. Check your blood pressure regularly, especially if you're over 70. High blood pressure is one of the leading causes of strokes, and managing it can significantly lower your risk. Now, let me tell you about two individuals. The first is James, a 72-year-old man who noticed tingling in his left hand a few weeks ago. Instead of brushing it off, he decided to take action. He started walking every morning, drinking more water, and took his blood pressure medication as prescribed. Within a few weeks, the tingling stopped and his energy levels improved. He even felt more confident, knowing he was doing what he could to protect himself. On the other hand, we have Martha, an 81-year-old woman, who also experienced the same tingling sensation in her left arm. She thought it was just a random occurrence and didn't think much of it. A few days later, the tingling intensified, and she began feeling weak on one side of her body. Unfortunately, Martha didn't seek help in time. A few weeks later, she suffered a stroke, which left her unable to walk without assistance. James and Martha's stories are a powerful reminder of how crucial it is to listen to your body and take immediate action. If you're over 70 and you notice any unusual tingling or numbness, don't ignore it. My advice to you is simple: pay attention to the early signs, get your blood pressure checked, and stay active. Don't wait for the situation to worsen. Taking small steps every day can make a world of difference. Remember, early action is key to stroke prevention, and you're never too old to make a positive change in your life. By staying vigilant and proactive, you can reduce your risk of stroke and enjoy a healthier, more independent life. If you're experiencing tingling, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor. And remember, even small changes like a daily walk, drinking enough water, and managing your health can help you stay safe and strong. So, take care of yourself, and don't let these early signs go unnoticed. Your health matters, and you deserve to live with peace of mind. As we've seen today, the early signs of stroke can often be subtle: mental confusion, changes in speech, or even physical weakness. For many elderly people, these signs may go unnoticed or be mistaken for normal aging. But by understanding these warning signs and taking action, you have the power to reduce the risk of stroke and protect your health. Whether it's recognizing confusion, feeling dizzy, or noticing changes in your daily routine, it's important to listen to your body. Taking action now, through simple lifestyle changes like staying active, eating well, and managing blood pressure, could make all the difference in preventing a serious stroke. If you or a loved one is showing any of these signs, don't wait. Early intervention can save lives, and it can improve the quality of life long after the risk is reduced. Remember, it's never too late to make small changes that add up to big improvements in your health.